Hi everyone, this is Nathan with the Paula's Choice research team here with a little beauty talk for you. So today, I thought we would take a closer look at two types of sunscreens, because we do get asked about this one a lot. What is the difference between a synthetic sunscreen and a physical sunscreen, and how can you tell, which one is going to be right for you? So let's look at the differences here. So the first is synthetic sunscreens. So synthetic sunscreens, also called chemical sunscreens, which, sidebar, is a little bit of a funny way to refer to them because technically everything is a chemical. So we call these synthetic sunscreens. Synthetic sunscreens, you'll find these in ingredient combinations like avobenzone, oxybenzone, and other actives there. These help to, of course they are broad spectrum when they do say broad spectrum on the label, but these do help in ways that for those who are looking for lighter weight sunscreens, for those who are looking for sunscreens that don't have a white cast to them, these tend to be great options because there is no white cast to synthetic sunscreens, but also it is much easier to formulate these in a really lightweight texture, but of course you can add emollients to them if you want to make it much richer and more moisturizing. So these are great for those who want something lightweight, who oftentimes might not want the white cast of a mineral sunscreen, but there is one thing to consider, and that is that synthetic sunscreens, for some who have sensitive skin, can actually be sensitizing. So if you're dealing with issues like rosacea or eczema, or just happen to have sensitive skin in general, if you find that synthetic sunscreens tend to be a bit tingly or burning, especially right around the eye area, or if you've just shaved, they can be a little bit sensitizing there. If that's the case with you, then you'd actually want to look for a mineral sunscreen. So mineral sunscreens, these use ingredients like titanium dioxide or zinc oxide. They can use both, but sometimes you'll see just one or the other. Like this is an example of a pure zinc oxide formula from Replenix. So these are a few kind of characteristic traits. Mineral sunscreens, they do have a bit of a white cast to them. Kind of unavoidable, but with today's formulas, you can actually do quite a lot to help, mitigate that. You can change their particle size, you can do some other things, with the formula so that the white cast, pretty much disappears as it dries, which is the case, fortunately, with a lot of the more advanced options on the market now. So aside from that white cast, they do work really well if you have sensitive skin. As I mentioned a moment ago, synthetic sunscreens, for some, can be sensitizing. So if that's you, consider a mineral sunscreen, particularly if you're dealing with issues like rosacea or eczema. Now, with mineral sunscreens, you can add emollients to them to make them a bit more appropriate for dry skin. The tricky thing is that mineral sunscreen actives, they do have a bit of a drier cast to them, a drier finish. So while that makes it really great for those who have oily skin, if it's formulated in that type of product, for them, someone who has dry skin, it can be a bit trickier. So if you find your dry skin mineral sunscreen, it just gives your face a bit of a drier feel, especially as the day goes on, I would suggest layering it with a moisturizer or even a facial oil to help kind of offset that. Now, a few tips for those who really like mineral sunscreens but want to offset that white cast. You can actually mix it with a little bit, just a few drops, of your preferred foundation or even gel bronzer. That'll help to offset it without diluting the protection. So that's pretty much the main basics between the two types of sunscreens. We have some information in the About section below that kind of further goes into the details, especially on things like applying them and all that kind of stuff. So a few other FAQs though before we go. A few other questions we get a lot about these. Number one is that can you layer them with your foundation that also has sunscreen without worrying about any type of deactivation or counter activity between one another? The answer is absolutely yes. You can layer your foundation, whatever you like, whether it has sunscreen or not, over your sunscreen without any worry. Just give your sunscreen about 3 to 5 minutes to dry, and then you can apply your foundation, with your sponge, your brush, your fingers, whatever you like, whatever your preferred method is. Just don't rub your face, with it, because then you can rub your sunscreen off. But otherwise, don't worry about any deactivation or anything along those lines. That's just not an issue, especially when you're dealing with finished formulas. You can layer all of these just like you can layer skincare products without any concern. Now, one other question we get a lot is if you get a bit shiny from your sunscreen, if you blot your face, will that take off your sun protection? No. Again, just wait 3 to 5 minutes for your sunscreen to dry, and then you can apply any blotting papers to help take the shine off, and that won't be an issue because you're just going to be removing that extra bit of emollient or extra bit of other ingredients that help create that shine. It's not going to be actually affecting the sun protection level at all. So we can go on and on about all of these FAQs because there are a lot with sunscreen. So again, check out the About section below. If there's even more sunscreen questions you have that are not in the About section, then let us know because we'd be happy to make another video all on that topic. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to keep getting videos just like it, go ahead and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.